Right now, AI is writing music, diagnosing diseases, and even holding conversations so realistic that people mistake it for humans.
Mr. Rob Pope. Hold
How
on,
you
let me just
doing?
get my big ass microphone. Hold on.
No, I felt
Uh,
outgunned by the size of your microphone.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. I'm really good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Listen, I asked you to come on this podcast because I want to explore who you are, number one,
Hmm.
and the world that you've traveled. You obviously come from the UK
Yeah,
and the technology that you're in. And I just wanted to pick your brain about what you do in the world of tech and also the AI and your
yeah,
background. So if you want,
yeah.
just go ahead and jump into it.
Yeah, it's been a long and winding road. You can probably tell by the grayness in my beard. I've been in technology a long time. I started in the days of like Windows 3.11. There was
Wow.
literally Windows just arriving. It makes me feel pretty old actually on computers when I started. And I was basically the classic IT support guy, you know. I think I was
Wow.
a bit nicer than your average IT support guy. But I used to go around and fix the computers and do all that kind of stuff, and that was really the start of the journey. And then I kind of was quite strategic about it. I wanted to earn money. I didn't grow up with money, never had any money to my name. So I was like, well, how can I earn more money? So I looked and I saw that computer security was a really growing thing, like viruses were spreading. And I'm like, this seems like an industry that you should really get into. So I managed after, a few years, I studied a lot, I worked really hard. I did a bunch of exams at a ridiculous pace, like I was never really someone at school that did particularly well, but when I decided that I wanted to get into a career, I just went for it. I just like did the lady at the testing center said I was the only person that had ever done all six exams for this particular exam in one day because I was just like desperate to, I didn't even have a cell phone. I was broke. I had like a car that with one mirror on one side. I was like, I need to sort this out. So I just worked really hard and I got my first job for a Danish company called Vigilante, and they did penetration testing, and which for people that don't know, that's basically acting like a hacker to try and hack into someone else's network, right? So
Wow.
I'm really, green at this stuff to begin with. They took me to Copenhagen. They taught me how to hack into things. The
Wow.
guys there were legit. I mean, they were really smart, really nice. I like the Danes. It was kind of no nonsense. It's like they tell if you were bad at something, they'd tell you that you were bad at something. There was no, oh, you're the greatest. It was like, yeah, you're not very good at this, are you? And so I really enjoyed that aspect. That company then tried to expand too quickly and they went bankrupt essentially. And one day we went to the cash machine on payday and there was no money in the account. And we went to the
Wow.
office and they'd locked the door. Um,
Wow.
so my future business partner and I, the sales guy there at the time said, hey, why don't we try to make a little company ourselves? And so we
What year
started
was this? What year did you get into the
about
company?
2002, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so around then. So we started Secure Test, which was our first penetration testing company. Um, and it was basically me in my bedroom with a desktop PC and Ken out on the road doing sales, pretending that we were like some data center somewhere, with a bunch of people sitting there. And then that really started the most intense period of my life still, which was pretty much 6 years of building that company up, just living, breathing, eating, work, work. All it was work. And we just built it up to about 30 people in the end. And so we were a decent size. At that time, we were probably in the top five biggest companies in the UK doing that. But honestly, it was amazing times, but it was really hard. I mean, anyone that's done a startup, I had like, I can't remember, probably 30 grand in debt. At that point in my life, that was an overwhelming amount of money to be in debt by a lot of sleepless nights. And it was, but looking back, it was also a really fun time, But you don't appreciate, sometimes you don't appreciate when you're under a lot of stress that you're going to look back on that as a good time because it was a lot of stress, you know? Um, and
That's so
so
crazy.
eventually we sold that company to a company called NCC, which is a pretty large security company. Um, and then I started working a couple of years to earn myself out of that. Basically, you know, they tie you in for a few years. And this is kind of where the America journey starts. Um,
Got it. Got it. Before you continue, I mean, God, there's so much I want to ask you. What made this company be interested in your company to buy you guys out?
we're just taking their customers basically. So they're, you know, a bigger company. We're going along. Ken was an awesome salesman. We had some other awesome salesmen working for us, and they could see that we were doing things, and we were, you know, they bought some other companies at the same time, and they were trying to bring all these companies together for one very large security company, which they did manage to do.
I
Um,
see.
so I think that was their interest in us, really.
Interesting. So your technology and your sales perspective of how you were really taking a piece of the market.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, there was nothing, I guess, unique about us, but we had a good customer list. We had good people working for us, and we were probably a pain in the butt to them, right? Because they're trying to like land these sales, and we're getting in there before them. So I
Got
think,
it.
yeah, that's really why.
And then they kept you on as a consultant when they purchased you?
Yeah, so they do that for a few years to make sure that, you know, they can still run the business and everyone doesn't leave. And then, yeah, so after that, I started my little trips to America, basically.
And why did you do that? How come you decided to come to America?
Very, very random. So my life in America comes down to someone dropping their cell phone in a club in San Francisco. So
Wow.
if that cell phone had never been dropped, we wouldn't have this conversation now, which was basically
Wow.
I'm living in Brighton in the UK. We've sold the company. I'm like wondering what the next part of my life is. And my friend calls me, said, "Oh, you know, I was in San Francisco. I dropped my phone. This girl picked it up. She's coming to the UK to visit. So do you want to hang out with us?" And I'm like, "Cool, yeah, of course I will." So I hung out with them, and then I ended up basically having, you know, a relationship with this girl. I came to San Francisco to visit her. It's November. It's pouring with rain in the UK. The days are getting shorter. It's, you know, it's not a great place in the UK in November. I arrived to see this girl. It's like beautiful weather in San Francisco at that time of year. Then we go to Tahoe, right? And then we go to drive down to LA down the one, you know, and I'm like, this is a different world. I am like, you know, this is like, it just changed my perspective on things. And also being in the home of where, you know, Apple and Microsoft come from, you know, these huge companies, Cisco, these people I've been dealing with for years. And suddenly I'm meeting people that work for them. I'm in that environment. And that's incredibly inspiring and motivational to do that. So it was really down to that lost cell phone that I ended up here, which is
Wow.
really peculiar when you think about it. I guess life's like that, right? Small things can send you off in different directions, but I had no inclination to come to America before that.
And then when it's funny because you're a tech guy and you found the cell phone. That's funny.
Yeah.
Uh, so you came, and then when did you decide to permanently stay, and what did you do for work at that time?
So